We are in the 20th day, so by that we are concluding the second quarter of the 40 days journey. So the first quarter we were focusing on action corresponding to the world of Asiyah, to the world of action. Next quarter we were focusing on prayer corresponding to the world of Yetzirah. Now we are concluding this quarter, and tomorrow starting the third quarter, which will be corresponding to the world of Bria, and I will explain later what we're going to be focusing on. Since this is the last day of the second quarter, we went through many different types of prayers that we added, and today we're going to add the last type of prayer that is kind of like a link to the next quarter. And it's not an official prayer that you open from a book, rather a personal prayer that you do with your own heart. And this is called Hitbodedut. Hitbodedut is where you isolate yourself from anything and you talk to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, many think when they hear the word Hitbodedut that this is associated with Rabbi Nachman from Breslev and the Chassidut of Breslev, which yes, they definitely put a lot of focus on this type of prayer that is called Hitbodedut. But Hitbodedut already was in our nation for thousands of years. We know that Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov used to do Hitbodedut. And many other great leaders would isolate themselves. Now, Hitbodedut, if you're looking at the translation, it's coming from the word in Hebrew, bidud. Bidud is isolation. What's the whole point here? It's not that you necessarily go to a field or to a forest and you're sitting there there's nobody there. You can do Hitbodedut also in the middle of a very noisy place. The idea of Hitbodedut comes from the word in Hebrew, bidud hanefesh, that you're isolating your nefesh, your soul, from any type of distraction. That's really the main point here. Of course, it's much, much easier to do it when you're in the middle of nowhere and there's no distractions. The idea behind it is that there's so much distractions all day long that most people can't focus on one thing. Most people are extremely unproductive because they don't know how to focus their energy. And of course they get distracted. The problem that we have with distractions is that that's the theme of Paro. Paro is not necessarily just the king of Egypt that was ruling the land of Egypt at the time of while we were slaves there. Paro is also a klipa, a negative energy that is called Paro. There's many different types of klipot. Klipa, the translation is a husk or a shell, and really a klipa is a type of an energy. And there are different types of energies, especially when we're focusing on negative energy. There are different types of klipot. The one that we are familiar with, that we are battling every day, is klipat Amalek. But there's also many other klipot, klipat Midian, and so forth. And one of the klipot that is a harsh klipa, it's called the Paro. Why is it called Paro? Because if you're taking the word Paro and spell it out, Pei Resh Ayin Hey, if you switch the order of the letters, you will get a word in Hebrew that is called Hafra'a. Hafra'a means a distraction. That something is buzzing in my ear and gets me to be distracted. It's not going to come in the form of a buzz in my ear, but it's a certain energy that will get me off my focus. Why? That's what he wants. Paro wants me to be unfocused. Why? Because when I'm not focused, I'm not productive. When I'm not productive, I'm useless. When I'm useless, then what am I doing here? So this specific klipa will come and bother me all day long. Now this klipa will be dressed in many different ways, by the way. It's not going to come necessarily in a bzz. This is a one way how the klipa manifests into this little box. Sorry that I'm touching your precious stone. Precious stone. Huh? But this is a perfect example of Paro that comes and distracts you 70 times a minute with all sorts of, right? That's what they do. Or ding ding, dang dang dang. That's distractions. If you're checking your email 50,000 times a day, that's a perfect example of distraction. Why do you need to check the email? Check it once a day, twice a day. So every time this idol goes and does ding ding, then you turn around to it. You bow down, let me see who sent me now a message that is irrelevant, probably stupid comment, or some lashon hara, or some yellow face with his tongue out, or some other way of expressing something that I don't even know. What do you want from me right now? So Paro is dressed into an iPhone 11 and he's distracting me all day long. And then of course I have many other distractions. You drive in the street, there's billboards everywhere. Everywhere you go, you want to see a video online, then there'll be pop-ups and all sorts of related videos that are not really related, by the way. I don't even know how they're related. Maybe they both start with the letter A. That's it. But the point is that we are constantly distracted with so many distractions. Now, when I really want to focus on something, I need to isolate myself. And some people know how to focus without being isolated, by the way. But most people don't have that ability. So when I want to have a straight connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, to speak to the Master of the Universe from my heart, to thank Him for everything that He does for me, to apologize for when I was rude and disgusting, to say sorry when I ignored Him. You have to have a personal conversation with Hashem on a daily basis. And we learned that from all our sages. Look how much Avraham Avinu was talking with the Kadosh Baruch Hu all day long. Avraham Avinu was in a state of Hitbodedut 24/7, talking with Hashem, and not because he was a prophet, because Hashem was his guide. Hashem was his shepherd, and everybody else. So what we want to add to our arsenal is a daily meeting with the Master of the Universe. I like calling it private time with God. That you find 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes, half an hour, whatever you can handle, where you isolate yourself from any distractions. Yes, if you want to go to a forest and be there by yourself and start screaming, good, then scream. That's what helps, then scream. But the point is that we're going to talk about it much more in the near future. How you do it, it's not that you just go to a forest and you just sit there and stare at a tree. There's a certain pattern what one needs to do. For now, we're just going to focus on the fact that you want to take a few moments a day. I don't want to call it to meditate, because you can be very quickly associate meditation with idolatry. But to meditate on Hashem, to talk to Hashem, to create a connection with Hashem. And that's where my ultimate level of powers of prayer comes, when I'm directed to opening a direct connection to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So we're not going to talk about it right now how it's done. Mainly what you need to do is you just need to be focused on the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So you do not come to this session with the phone, and you do it in a time that you know that nobody needs you. Not your wife, not your kids, not your boss, not anybody else. And the whole idea is that you need to isolate yourself, and not yourself physically. It's called bidud hanefesh, that my soul is isolated, that my soul is not distracted by many different things, and that I can focus on building a stronger connection with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Now, if I do not do that on a daily basis, then even when it's time to pray from a book, I'm not going to be focused on. Just ask yourself, when was the last time that you prayed from a book, Tfilat Shmona Esrei, and you were focused on every letter and every word? You may be focused on the first 3 paragraphs, and then your mind starts wandering, and you don't even know how you got there. You just wake up in the middle of the prayer, your thought was somewhere else, and suddenly you're like, wait, how did I get to Barech Aleinu Tashana Azot? I skipped a few paragraphs. So the idea is to know how to focus your thoughts, to be focused. And most people they're doing like 7 things at the same time, and they can't focus on one thing. You can't do so many things at the same time. You have to do one thing, finish it, complete it, move to the next one. So what you want to do is start finding a time a day, even if you start with 5 minutes a day, that you go somewhere quiet and you sit quietly, you isolate yourself from any distractions, and you talk to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And as a start, again, we're going to explain much more in depth what one needs to do, but as a start, you tell Hashem, how was your day? You start by thanking the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's really the best way to start, by thanking Him for that you woke up this morning, that you have 2 legs that you can walk, that your lungs work and you can breathe, that your eyes work and you can see, and He gave you a mouth to thank Him. Thank Him for your parents, for your kids, for your wife, for the wife you don't have, for the whatever, a husband, either way. And whatever it is, you start with 2-3 minutes of thanks to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And by that, anyways, we're going to go now for the next 10 days, and a lot about things like this, and especially in the last quarter of building my relationship with Hashem. Most people don't even have a relationship with Hashem. The fact that you have a yarmulke on your head doesn't mean you have a relationship with God. So now, just to conclude the last quarter, we're going to have to add to our daily schedule. You can start with 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be half an hour. Some people do an hour, Hitbodedut. But that's really the therapy for their soul. You definitely want to do it as early as possible in the day. That is really your session with the Kadosh Baruch Hu, where Kadosh Baruch Hu massages your soul. It's a therapy for the soul to relax, to be focused. You get your thoughts together. You start by opening a line of communication with Hashem. After thanking Him, you start saying your desires and wishes. I want to be better father. I want to be a better student. It bothers me that I can't control my Yetzer Hara. Whatever. You talk to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. And again, we're going to learn more in details how to do it. And then, of course, you focus your thoughts for this 5-10 minutes on what you want to achieve this day, what are your goals for the week, whatever it is, and you talk to the Kadosh Baruch Hu like He's your coach, your best friend, your brother, your partner, whatever it is, only to build a very strong connection to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. That's the time where your soul gets focused, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu can also give back His blessing and His energy and His life force. If you don't have a connection to Hashem, then Hashem can't give you too much, even though He can do whatever He wants. But nevertheless, Kadosh Baruch Hu, we'll call it now a projector. He's projecting 24/7 with no stop. The problem is us, the receivers. If I'm not receptive to receive Hashem's energy, it doesn't matter how much I will try. It's not going to work. So, to conclude now, 20 days of hard work, which we're actually going into the 21st day. We're literally halfway through. That's already a big achievement. So we're going to link the quarter of tefillot, of prayers, to the next quarter that is taking us to a much higher level, and we can start working on ourselves and refining ourselves. And we'll leave it as that now till we go and dive deeper to explain about the type of meditation that is called Hitbodedut, and later on we're going to focus on other types of meditations. But there's a lot of Jewish meditations that most people don't even know exist, or they connect them to other things. But now we're just going to find 5 minutes, 10 minutes a day, better in the morning or at night whenever you have time, where you focus all your energy in one place. And later on, we'll elaborate more how to do it, but now just first find the time. And a lot of people say, I don't have time for this. Well, get off Facebook, you'll have a lot of time. Or, if it's very hard for you to get off Facebook, then be on Facebook instead of 3 hours a day, then be on Facebook an hour and 50 minutes. Or 2 hours and 40 minutes, whatever it is. But if you monitor how many hours a day you're on Facebook, you'll see you have a lot of time. Just all depends on where you're putting your energy. So we'll wish us all a good luck on the new journey, and Be'ezrat Hashem we'll be able to build a stronger, healthier connection with our Creator that will help us elevate to a much higher level to be able to continue this journey and to achieve all the great things that we're desiring to achieve.